Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next hour, along with Miss Katie.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
I am indeed. Good morning.
Good morning. And Spence is here.
I would like to say hello.
Hello. And Nick said he was not going to show today. He's got something going on. Anyway.
Yeah,
Our
and you
n-
weren't strict enough, and you told him it's okay.
Oh, yeah. I remember that when you tell me you're not going to show up. Our number is 561-518-9773, and today's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. Um, it's just amazing how we get used to something, and then, the story was that our Plex server stopped receiving live TV from the antenna. And of course, there's no way to watch through Plex, so you can't reverse and pause and all that because we were watching it through the HD Home Run app. Well, what was it, Gal? Friday evening? Yeah, Friday evening,
I think so, yeah.
Gal connected and fixed it. It had to do with me not being sure if I should do and I shouldn't do. I mean, I was reading a lot, and they said you need to reinstall the DVR, and I didn't want to lose all of Kathy's
Well,
programs and stuff. And
to be clear, what I did was just make sure you had a backup of the system. That's
yeah,
all.
well,
And then we
that's
can trial and error. Yeah.
yeah. And but it's amazing how you try it and I say, oh no, I'm not perplexed. And, I can't pause, I can't reverse, I can't rewind. And now that it's okay, everything is back to normal. So thank
Well,
you again, Gal.
it's an easy solution. Just go back to Spectrum
Yeah, sure, of
and
course.
buy a box. Get a
Yeah,
box. Hey, well, it's
right.
cheap. It's reliable. It's the best service you can get according to their
Sure it
ads.
is. Yep.
I mean, why would they lie?
The trick is to be able to watch all these stations that are broadcasting locally, that you can receive locally through an antenna. I mean, the it's sort of like the same thing that Spectrum does some of it. They do receive these national channels like and no, they don't get antenna TV, but they get some of the other ones, um, Me
You're talking
TV.
about the national syndication, the
Yeah,
NBCs, ABCs. Yeah.
right. So this one, no, I will never go to any provider like YouTube or any of them that just gets you
Oh,
a
YouTube TV
handful of.
gives you the local stations as well.
Yeah, they do.
Not all of them, but you get the local stations as well.
Who?
Uh,
YouTube
YouTube TV,
TV.
yeah, you put in your zip code, and depending on the zip code, that's the content you're getting,
Yep.
including all of the blackouts and all of that as well.
Well,
We were pleased that Amazon Recast finally had a software patch because there were some weird things going on with not being able to delete. The directories were not correct when you go to look for, to record programs. They fixed it. There were a lot of complaints. And they had said they were not abandoning the product, but they're not developing new software for it. And so people were concerned that, well, when are they actually going to shut off the service? And it's coming, but there are a few alternatives that will work. with Fire Stick, so we're too worried about that. But still able to record, backup, stop local broadcasts using the recast. It works okay.
Yeah, when you think about it, right? Uh, Having Amazon develop such a product doesn't make any sense, like financially to them. It doesn't bring new customers and it doesn't bring new money, right? It's really, really limited in the what it's doing. So it needs to be some third party small player that it
Yeah.
can sustain them, but not be like a major uh, income driver. So
Well, I'm not sure why they decided not to do it because it did do a nice job of making the Fire Stick environment work. It was a good, that's the reason why I went to Fire Sticks in the first place because I was Roku. And so, but when they announced, I think it's trying to see now who they, Tableau is what they're moving to. They're asking people to be prepared to move to it. So it'll be the same thing type of hardware. Not going to be able to use the recast server
yeah,
itself, but
I mean,
yeah,
even Amnon's solution, right? Plex is just
yeah.
the DVR solution.
Right.
The antennas themselves, the content itself is coming from a separate box completely. So it's I mean it's just a matter of and don't get me wrong, there might be, I don't know, Amnon, have they developed they had a few products in their pipeline. Have they actually developed them, HD Home Run?
I don't keep up with it. I don't know. I mean, for
Yeah.
me, HD Homeward is a plug and leave it alone.
Yeah, so
I don't follow.
one of the things yours doesn't do, if you will correct me, uh, it does not transcode to the
That's correct.
256 246
It does not.
264, sorry, H264,
Yeah,
right?
it does not.
Right. And I remember they had a product that did only two channels for 265.
Right.
Um
The two tuner ones do.
the two tuners one. And since then, they had plans of making more, and they never came out, right?
Nope, not as
So
far as I
even
know. But
here,
like I said, I
there's
didn't
yeah,
check.
it seems like the market for the cord cutters, those who were really fed up of subscriptions, any subscriptions, not just cable. Um, there was a small niche, a small time period, really small, where there was a boom in technology and solutions, and that's when Amazon came up with the recast, and HD Home Run had a very good run in selling their products. But since then, everything stagnated, and
Yeah.
so yeah,
Um, Related to streaming and stuff like that. YouTube pulled a popular tutorial video from tech creator Jeff Geerling this week, claiming his guide to installing LibreElect on a Raspberry Pi 5 violated policies against harmful content.
what the
The
hell, man?
video, which showed viewers how to set up their own home media servers, had been live for over a year and racked up to more than 500,000 views. YouTube's automated systems, Yuck, flagged the content for allegedly teaching people how to get unauthorized or free access to audio or audiovisual content. Gerling says his tutorial covered only legal self hosting of media people already own, no piracy tools or copyright workarounds. He said he goes out of his way to avoid mentioning popular piracy software in his videos. It's the second time YouTube has pulled a self-hosting content video from Gerling. Last October, YouTube removed his jellyfin tutorial, though that decision was quickly reversed after appeal. This time, his appeal was denied. Um,
Amazing. LibreElect,
yeah,
right? You remember Kodi? Kodi, the application
yeah,
for, yeah. So LibreElect is just an OS based Kodi. So having Kodi run the everything that needs to run for the OS, and everything is basically controlled by Kodi. So you get a box which is very similar in concept to HD Home Run or an Xbox, okay?
right.
Uh, where you just switch it on and you get a TV interface that you can control. It's its own Fire Stick, basically, right? And so you buy the hardware, you install the OS, and you get an OS system that is designed to play media, right?
Yeah, but it
Teaching how to do that should not be like in any way whatsoever, right?
right.
Should not be frowned upon. Now, can you install on it stuff that will allow you to access content that you might have not paid for? For sure, you can do that on your PC as well. You can do that on any machine. You can do it on a Fire Stick as well. So what's going on here? This is,
It's
and I'm not
ridiculous.
being naive here, right? Yes, people are using OpenELEC and Kodi to consume pirated content. I'm not saying that's not the case. But the fact that somebody explained how to do it and taking that something's off.
I mean, that's how it is with YouTube.
Yeah.
It's not the person that decided this. It's an automated system, and I ran into it a couple of times with them. Suddenly, they said this podcast is not yours. You can't
Yeah.
transmit it, and I was I mean, and now you have to. It's not easy to appeal,
Because the decision that is made automatic,
right?
but now in order to appeal you need to talk with you need to get in contact with a person, and they do not want to do
No,
that. They do not want to spend the manpower on it. So I get it.
yeah. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, you send an email. And I explained, I said, look at our channel. It's been going on for years. These are our shows. We do it here in the studio. And for years, it was okay with you. You need to check it.
Yeah.
And once you check it, why can't you whitelist it and say, okay, if there's a false positive, no, ignore it. They
And
don't.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's arrogance. And this
I
is
mean,
why
yeah.
And this is why I mean, when you go to Nissan Communications and you see all the shows and you can click and listen to the audio or watch the video comes from YouTube. I don't host the video on my servers. It's coming from them. And when they get to a point where they said, okay, we ban you for 2, 3 weeks. Back then, when it happened for the first time, I said, well, I can do this. So I set up a second system with Internet Archive with the same. So every week when I update 2 files. And if YouTube takes it out, all I have to do is just change the name in the menu and everything works the same way until everything is cleared. It's ridiculous for somebody to have to do this just because a I don't even want to call it AI because there's no intelligence there.
I don't
Agreed.
understand that these people have award ceremonies every year where they give each other awards for the most annoying, ridiculous complaints that they can come up with. They're doing a great job, right? As far as being innovative, they're always coming up with new ways to annoy you and have to figure out a way around it.
it's just ridiculous. And I'm telling you, it's all it is just arrogance because they know that hey, you want to be. Thank God I don't depend on YouTube for any income or whatever. I mean, this guy is apparently is getting money and he's getting these videos pulled out. And there's no reason he's teaching people how to install hardware. I mean, yeah. So if there's a tutorial to how to set up a PC when you buy a new one, what do you put on it and whatever, and then after a while that person figures, oh, I can install that program and get pirated stuff from here and there. So does that mean that the person who taught him how to install the PC, how to ins- tweak it, is guilty of anything? Nah, that's really bad. Yeah.
Katie, I have an idea of how to create a new viral channel. Is we'll call it the pirate's lore or something like that, or layer, and or the chest. And every video will be about how to install Windows, how to install Mac, how to how to get a video player on your iPhone, like simple tech stuff, just
And then
non-piracy stuff,
And
but
it'll
it's
get
just
everything
flagged.
about
all links to other people's content.
yeah.
Um. All right. Um. Another thing about this here, uh, internet service provider Frontier Communications, agreed to settle a lawsuit filed by major record labels that demanded mass disconnections of broadband users accused of piracy. Universal, Sony, and Warner sued Frontier in 2021. In a notice of settlement filed last week in U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York, the parties agreed to dismiss the case with prejudice, with each side to pay its own fees and costs. The record labels and Frontier simultaneously announced a settlement of similar claims in a bankruptcy court case in the same district. Frontier also settled with movie companies in April of this year, just before a trial was scheduled to begin. Frontier exited bankruptcy in 2021. Regardless of what is in the agreement, the question of whether ISP should to crack down more harshly on users accused of piracy could be decided by the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, it's becoming. I mean, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to control it, so they're going after the people that provide the service. And we talked about this years ago. So what if I get a if we had still we didn't have cell phones and we had phones, and I talked to somebody about how to circumvent some kind of law. Does Bell South is Bell South going to get uh, hit by a lawsuit from that company that we were discussing how to circumvent? No, they're
That's the
coming.
idea, though.
What?
That's the idea.
Now
If you
it's the
can't,
idea. Back then,
if you can't, look,
oh,
what they're asking is, right? They're asking, if you'll take your analogy further, right? They're asking the phone company, you need to listen into all of the conversation, and if one of the conversation we don't like it, you need to shut it down, right? That's what they're saying.
yeah,
And and everybody who makes laws are pretty much okay with that.
That's
That's the
today.
problem.
That's today with smartphones.
From 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 day one, like
Uh,
lawmakers from the beginning, they had no problem with it. I
well,
mean, that's the DCMA, right?
yeah,
That's the
DMCA.
DMCA. Sorry, yeah, DMCA. That's the rule, basically, right? Is if any technology uh, can be used, right, then it's in violation. And so, if you could do it with an Adobe Acrobat reader, right? If they haven't figured out a way of how to block you, then they are susceptible. They can be sued. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, you go after the person that's doing it. Figure out ways how to find them.
This reminds me of the gun law situation where if somebody uses a gun, do you blame the individual that used the gun or do you blame the manufacturer for making the gun in the first place?
Right,
Or
right.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I can't blame the manufacturer, but there is no other use for the gun other than to create damage. Okay, so there is a difference in analogy there a bit, because it's not like the phone line was never created, is created for a lot of things. One of them can be damage. Okay, so yes, gun control, also gun control has nothing with the manufacturer, right? Gun control has to do with the way it gets from the manufacturer to the consumer. So it's there are some similarities, but it's on a different spectrum of values and use and change. So
The first lawsuit over weapons was during Cro-Magnon era when the one person sued another person for gathering rocks.
I mean,
Yeah.
in Gal, I would argue this. I would say that a purpose for guns can also be sports. To go target
it's
shooting, to
still
go.
to create damage. It's still very specific. Even sports, it's to create damage, right? It's to put a hole in something. It's
Well,
not.
yeah, but I mean, when you're talking to create damage, you're talking about violence.
I didn't
I
say
mean,
specific
what?
violence, but
I
in
mean,
case of a
so
gun, it's definitely controlled violence,
so
right?
does boxing also is a thing because you are creating real damage into
Yeah, but
human.
boxing is between two consenting individuals. It's
Yeah,
something completely different.
and I consented with a paper target when I,
Did you sign? Did you sign a
sure.
disclosure on the paper?
yeah, did the paper sign consent?
That's right.
No, I
I
mean, yeah, I
specifically give you
understand.
permission to perforate
I
me.
understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's ridiculous to go after the manufacturer of anything when I mean, if really if there is something that has no other use but for violence, then when violence happened, yeah, then go after the manufacturer. Say, look, you created that thing. What did you think people are going to do with it? Here, there's an answer. People were going to go and skeet shoot. People were going to go and hunt. People are going to go and target shoot. When if you created something, if you're creating an atomic bomb, what did you create it for? What other use than to just, yeah, you can say for deterrence, but that's obviously for that, for violence, for war. So that I don't know that I think we're regressing, and that's not something that we we will solve here on the show. But it's just ridiculous for piracy to go after the provider, after the ISP, instead of finding who is the user that did it. And don't put all because when you go after the ISP, and the ISP, and then somehow the court finds the ISP responsible, the ISP is going to have to pay high fines. High fines.
Okay, let's
Wait,
Well,
wait,
they
wait,
kind
wait,
of go
wait.
after the money too. I
Wait,
mean,
that's
if you're
what I'm
going to get
saying.
upset about something, you may as well sue somebody who's got money.
But they go after, and the ISP will have to settle and pay a fine. That fine translates into higher fees for everybody else that never pirated anything. Okay, Gal, go ahead. I'm sorry.
no. What I mean is, okay, when you're looking at this, right?
Yeah.
They're attacking what's convenient for them to attack,
Right.
right?
Absolutely.
They are trying to ban the seas instead of the pirate on the seas. They are trying to ban the docks where the ships dock instead of whoever's on the ship, right?
Yeah.
Whoever's
Yeah.
using, if we're going with the piracy analogy. So yeah, and it will always be that until I mean, one of the reasons, if you remember, what was that? Net neutrality, right? Net neutrality. One of the concepts behind it. I'm not saying that the implementation or the specific letter of the law um, was well defined, but what drove the need for something like net neutrality is coming and saying this is a utility that the community, the society cannot do without. And so we need to treat it in a specific way. And once that's in place, that means that whoever is serving this, right? I cannot sue the electric company because I decided to build um, an illegal drugs warehouse. Okay.
Right.
And I need electricity for that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's not it's not the electric company's business. What I do is that electricity. And so changing that conversation legally, I'm talking, right? That was part of what net neutrality was about a bit. They did it in a very, it didn't work, right? It didn't work correctly. I wish Nick was here. He would be able to elaborate on this a lot more. So the concept still needs to have to be there, because when we when we converse about this, right, is this is how we take it for granted. This is a service that we expect it to be there. Yes, we'll pay for it, right? It's not we're not asking for it to be free, but we're asking it to always be there. And that means it doesn't matter what happens on it, right? It's 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 the street outside paved that we pay the taxes to get, right? That's the idea. So yeah, uh, I
Right.
mean, it ties very well with what you read before, right? Of the video being removed.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. John is putting something in the chat. He says, then chainsaws should be banned. They're only used to create damage. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that I mean, first of all, it's correct, and the more damage they will do is killing people than actually doing the damage that they were designed for, which to take down trees,
yeah.
which is a specific type of damage,
Right.
right? Then we'll have that conversation. But at this
Yeah.
point,
But
right?
if you have a 100-year-old tree that's cherished by a small town and a guy comes in with a chainsaw, cuts it down, can you sue the chainsaw manufacturer?
That's a good question.
Don't
We
give
can
them
try.
idea.
Yeah.
Let's not give
Well,
them ideas.
it really comes down to accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some point, somebody needs to be accountable.
No.
When
not
it should
just,
be the individual that's accountable for their
not,
own actions.
not just accountability. The easiest accountability, the easiest path that you can find for accountability. You're not going to spend time trying to find the person that's doing it. It's easy. Hey, go after the company.
Yeah. Oh no, it's also where the money is too.
Yeah,
Come
So
on.
right. That's where
If
the
sometimes.
you ask a lawyer how to solve something, right? That is their job to
Yeah,
find the easiest way for accountability.
yeah, yeah.
So think, I think Shakespeare had the right idea, right?
I don't
First,
know.
we kill all the lawyers.
Yeah. There was a group. This is a great example of what started out as good intentions. There's a group of lawyers or an organization of lawyers that goes around the country suing people over handicapped parking spaces. And they would come in and they would go through towns and look for ones that were not built to regulation. And they would go in and shake them down. You need to pay this much or we will sue you. And
Mhm.
it started out well intentioned, but it turned into a moneymaker. And it was,
Not enough homework. That's what it
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Gal, what were you going to say about Shakespeare? I didn't hear.
Shakespeare, he said,
get rid
kill
of
all
the
the
lawyers.
lawyers.
Yep.
That's a quote from one of his plays.
Oh,
What was it in Star Trek too? Wasn't there some place where they said we got rid of all the lawyers
Could
about
be. Yeah, it
you
could
know,
be.
like we
Yeah.
didn't, nobody has to work and we got rid of all the lawyers.
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah. All right. Major broadband lobby groups have asked the Trump administration to sue states that require internet service providers to offer low cost plans to low income residents. Following their unsuccessful court challenges against such laws, the Cable, Telecom, and Mobile Industry Associations filed their request this week with the Justice Department's new anti competitive regulation task force, specifically targeting New York's law that mandate $15 and $20 monthly broadband options for eligible customers.
That's been around a long time though. This is not new.
Anybody
Don't you?
s-
Yeah.
anybody sued the administration for Obama phones?
Oh yeah.
Anybody
No.
even talked about it? I don't remember any talk. Let's
I
just
remember that
give people free phones.
in many cases people had more than one.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
And they were
Well,
all used for legal purpose. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well,
It's it's
That
ridiculous.
program still exists. Lifeline support for affordable communication, sorry, for affordable
yeah.
communication.
Yeah. All right.
Look, whenever you have any government subsidized program, right, that is being introduced, so there always is going to be someone who's going to try to abuse it.
Sure.
Let's be clear, right? The internet started, right? It was full of potentials, but there were also two things that started to grow with it: porn and piracy,
Yep.
right? Not unique to the internet, by the way, right? Phones started, right? What did we get? We get party lines, and we get peddling calls, international calls, right? So the piracy, stealing from the man, was already there,
Mhm.
ingrained in the technology the moment it was possible,
Yep.
right? It'll always happen. But one thing the legislation, forget the legislation. Legislation won't learn, because legislation, it's just the way it works, right? But one thing society needs to always learn is to follow those trends and to understand why they appear
Mm.
and how to perfect the system. You will never get rid of it, but you could definitely minimize its importance. You can definitely minimize its impact, and make it so, yes, there's always going to be a niche. You ban you ban gambling, right? You will always find gambling around. It's not that it's going away. It's
goes
just,
underground.
exactly, it's just
Yeah.
hidden, and it'll
Yep.
stay small and hidden. And as long as it stays small and hidden, we're fine. The moment you put so much attention on it, you claim that it's such a big issue that you're losing so much money, right? But have you ever stepped away and looked at how much attention and money you're putting into a problem that you can probably get rid of it differently, like the Spotify way, let's say, right? So it's or Netflix, right? When it started, when Netflix started in the pay range that they set, piracy started to go down, right? People were less interested in the US specifically where Netflix was available in any option like that. So what is driving piracy? Is it the technology or is it the greed of the corporations who are chasing the pirates?
I would say the greed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's switch a little bit to technology. Last week, Panasonic announced refreshed models, sorry, of its long established Let's Note laptop series. However, for the first time in its history, we have a Let's Note portable that doesn't have a VGA port. According
Let's
to a
know.
report by Nikkei Japan, this is probably the beginning of the end for laptops sporting VGA output with other companies to follow suit. So, yeah,
I
today, what?
wonder who's mad about this. So, like,
People with VGA monitors.
that's what I'm wondering. Like, how prevalent are those still out in the market? Like, are we talking about this crippling? Look, we are very well off, right, compared to most. So, and we live with, I mean, even the latest, the oldest technology that I'm using today, VGA, while it might exist on it, it's not used, right? So
Talk for yourself. Most of
Well,
my
what
computers use.
that's
interface
what
do
I'm.
they have? Just HDMI, or is it DisplayPort, or what?
They
Well,
have
today the most common one will be a USB-C based DisplayPort
no.
connection.
That's
That
only that's the newest ones. USB-C has
I'm
not been.
talking. I'm talking 7 years back. That's when
Mm,
you start seeing this because
Yes.
it's a lot cheaper today. They do not need to license it. DisplayPort is open source, right? So unlike HDMI, which is licensable. So
I
I
mean,
would rather
the
see.
here. Wait, here's the thing. Look at it this way. Right here, with the computer that I'm using, I have three monitors, three outputs: a
Right.
VGA, I have a DisplayPort, and I have an
right,
HDMI,
right.
which is that's the only way I could accomplish it.
Yeah, but you bought all of the equipment, right? Approximately in the same era, and you're still using it.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you're out in the market to buy something new, it's not to interface with that.
If
That's the thing.
if I'm out to when the big monitor went out, it's the one
Yeah.
that's connected through VGA.
Great.
I went and looked for a VGA one. Of course, the monitor has VGA and HDMI,
Okay.
but it has a VGA, and this way it was just a plug it, unplug the bad one, plug the new one, everything works.
Right.
And
And if you buy a laptop today that has
yeah,
never been thought of, that the VGA was an
correct,
afterthought,
correct.
it'll still work because you still have the other connectors.
Yeah,
It's not
it
as if something is phasing out and disappearing, but yeah, the what's driving out VGA seems to have died already for a long time. Not something new. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, the VGA is there today just for legacy.
Exactly.
It's there. You have the hardware. I mean, there are monitors that work. Most of my computers use VGA. I think I have one that use HDMI.
I'll give you an example. If they would have said that they're doing away with the audio jack, right?
Yeah,
Which is also fading out.
right.
I would actually be pissed off because the alternatives is just wireless, and the wireless solution is not as good as a wired solution.
Correct.
So the fact that you're taking that away completely, right, and not just saying, I have a better solution. Like, and it's not even replacing it. It's not even the Apple approach of I have a better connector, right?
Mhm.
It's just I'm going away with it. Then, then yeah, that's a problem. So I don't know. It might be a big deal, but it also means that I think it's time for it to fade away. It's fine.
Yeah, I
I
mean, right.
wonder the Panasonic Let's Note. It seems like it's this it's a very Japanese uh, iconic device, and that's probably why it's getting some news. But yeah,
It's also was the sort, they were one of the first manufacturers that had real, true hardened PCs, portables, that hardened laptops. I mean, it used to be the big lug around cases, but they were the first ones to come out with like battlefield ready laptops that met the Defense Department requirements. You saw those used. A lot of engineering companies still use them because of the durability of them. And
Yeah.
I personally, I don't have any problem. You could do USB-C. I love USB-C. My new Lenovo, that's all I use. Single cable.
yep,
Everything. All my interfaces come through this USB-C. Two
yeah.
monitors, everything.
Well, talk about
Thunderbolt,
uh,
right?
Yep.
That's the
Yep.
interface.
and
Amazing protocol. Yeah.
here's another article. Let's just go into this. Microsoft will require all USB-C ports on Windows 11 certified laptops and tablets to support data transfer, charging, and display functionality under updated hardware compatibility program rules.
Yeah,
The
you see, now
mandate.
that I have a problem with, and I'll explain. They
Let's
say
let's finish.
capabilities.
Wait, let's
Okay, go
finish
ahead.
the article and then the mandate targets devices shipping with Windows 11 24H2 and aims to eliminate what Microsoft and the industry calls USB-C port confusion, where identical looking ports offer different capabilities across PC manufacturers. The Windows Hardware Compatibility Program updates also required USB 40 gigabits port to maintain full compatibility with both USB 4 and Thunderbolt 3 peripherals. So I don't have much I
So
don't have much
they
experience with.
need to be compatible with both USB 4 and Thunderbolt. Now, you see
Well,
that I love these protocols, don't get me.
yeah.
I love it, but they cost the manufacturer a lot. You'll see the reason the manufacturer doesn't put such a port, right, is because they can sell a cheaper piece of hardware. So
Yeah,
the licensing around these
it's
is not cheap.
it's not just the connector, it's the technology behind
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
USB-C is the connector, that connector one, right? We have, I mean, there's no disagreement here. For now, USB-C is the connector that won. I don't know if it won for the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 40 years. I don't
who
know,
knows, yeah.
right? But it's definitely the connector that has won, right? If we had VHS and Betamax in the 80s,
Hmm?
USB-C has won this last battle of. But you're right, there is a confusion about what is it's capable of, right? How much, because it can drive up to 200 watts of current, or it can be just a data port that does a very slow communication because it's just a connector.
I heard
So
that the new community based local nuclear reactors are all going to have USB-C ports.
That will be awesome. That
How
Tesla
many
tower
kilowatts can
behind
you
you,
run
that's
through
going to feed
USB-C?
them. So
The ultimate power, the ultimate network over power line.
I don't know. I don't have much experience with USB-C. But I know some of them are just for charging, and they will not do any data transfer. Some of them would do charging, but not uh, display.
It's a
Some of them go on.
fabulous upgrade to charging because of getting rid of the micro USB port, which is a
Yeah,
piece
no,
of
no,
crap.
that's fine. We're not talking
Yeah.
about this. We're talking about
Yeah.
having a bunch of. This is like you have at the house where you have your power plug, socket in the wall. Let's assume that you had 4 of them lined up. They all look the same, but they do different things. One of them is
Yep.
220, one of them is 110, one of them is for the water.
Hey, that would be cool.
and it's confusing, yeah. So to standardize and say make them all do everything is a good idea, but like Gal says, it costs more. And again,
Yeah.
now explain to me, Gal, how do you take a laptop with one USB-C and drive a monitor and charging at the same
Oh, not a
time?
problem. Not a
I don't
problem.
know.
You
It's
use a
native. It's native. It's built
no.
in.
No, I
You
don't-
use a docking station that is Thunderbolt that supports Thunderbolt,
yeah.
right? And you connect that to the laptop,
Oh,
and
okay.
then
Okay.
there you connect all of the connections that goes to
Okay.
the TV,
Okay.
the keyboard, and power delivery through that. So that's
So
exactly that standard that they were talking about. But what I was worried is, so yes, you come and say it must support this and this and this. This exists today in multiple, in like there's a huge array of things. But if you go when you try to legislate, this is the way it needs to be, you're getting into, we're going to get into a situation, right, where we're going to be stuck with the worst of the implementations as the standard. Because the moment something new will be developed and it'll not be backwards compatible, we're screwed. We won't get it,
They'll
or it'll be
squash the
very, very
development.
expensive.
I
Right?
tell you
So,
I tell you what I'd like to see. I'd like to see it USB-C on the laptop, have 6 of them. We have 4 and 5 USB 2 and 3s. Do away with them. The USB-C takes less space. You can put more there, and they all do the same thing. Now, you don't need. How much is the docking thing that you're talking about?
what do you mean?
$30, $40,
Good
Depends
ones,
on the
60.
60.
Yeah.
They
Now-
start at 60.
Now, that is added to that's added to the price of the laptop that you bought if you want to have 2 different things. So if the
Yeah.
laptop costs 500, now it's 560.
I don't know, let's
But
be
it's
clear.
what enables featherweight laptops, because you're taking all those interfaces out of it.
Well, but the
So
thing
the
is,
cost of development is lower.
Yes, but I don't know what it takes to develop a a laptop that has multiple USB 2s and just put them in parallel to each other, because that's really what.
Look,
Oh, it's real
the
estate.
standard, if you look at the standard of current computing, portable computing, you get between, like, even on the cheapest of cheapest, you get 2 ports, right? 2 USB ports. Doesn't matter. USB-C, USB 2. I'm not even going there. But if you look at the cheapest computers, you get at least 2 ports, and the very common combination you get is some sort of display, some sort of a port for display, like an HDMI or a display port, and 3 USB ports, at least one on each side and another one, right? even if there was only one, but it's a Thunderbolt, right? You're better off than if you had 3 and they're just USB-C. That's the thing. It's the utility of a Thunderbolt port, a single Thunderbolt port, means more than everything combined, every interface combined, because you can connect Ethernet to that. You can connect audio to that. You can connect everything to it,
Mhm.
right? That's the thing. So if the standard says if there's going to be some sort of regulation and they're going to say you got to have a port, I mean, my concern is that we'll get only one port
Yeah, that's bad.
always, like, because that's the standard, that's what the government wants, and you won't get more because nobody, it passes legislation. uh I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but yeah.
There is room for more USB Cs on any laptop than there is for USB 2s. The
Yeah, yeah.
USB,
Forget about that. Things are getting smaller, so
yeah,
things and
no,
getting
but the
lighter, and
USB
everybody's
connector,
looking on simpler development.
but
So
but the USB is not getting smaller. It's still the same size. It's huge compared to a USB C. It's
yeah,
huge.
but if you look, USB is disappearing. USB-C is the only one you're gonna see.
Hopefully,
You're
but
gonna see
then,
that more and more and more.
but the
Even those sticks, you'll just use a an adapter, and that's it.
well, that's the thing is why use adapter if you have multiple.
Because the old interface has evolved and there's a new interface which is better. Look, once you put the adapter on, then it doesn't matter which way you stick that connector, it'll connect,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, no, no.
So it's like there's
It's a solution. It's a viable solution. No,
yeah, it's
no, no
it's
question.
it's like
it's a
it's like going
fabulous
away with the
move.
VJ.
But
It's a
but
fabulous move for portability.
Yeah.
Think about for people who travel, who you have drop-in workstations now at a lot of companies where you just there's a USB-C cable there you plug into, and
yeah,
you connect to everything. You have everything set up for you.
Amnon, the USB-C has gone away with the old model specific docking station.
yeah.
It has
Because
done
the
that.
old ones had the huge
Yeah, they're
connector on the back.
proprietary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's not the thing. It's like Lenovo, right? Because they would create, like, for a model, they would create a docking station, because the
Yep.
next model they came up, they didn't think about, I don't know, some bandwidth issue or whatever, or they wanted to support another video monitor and it can't, right? This what there's that's an issue that will no longer happen.
well,
I
we'll
just
have
And
to
if you
wait
donated
buy,
and see.
just donated 2 Lenovo docking stations, brand new in the boxes, that came with laptops that I bought or got from work, that are still viable. People can use them, but you have to have the special connector on the base
Yeah,
exactly.
of the laptop for it to work.
yeah, yeah. They had all kind of weird connections.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, what was that funny thing? Oh, unemployment. They're solving all the unemployment in China. A new business model has emerged across China's major cities where companies charge employed individuals to rent desk space and pretend to work, responding to social pressure around joblessness amid rising youth unemployment rate. These services charge between 30 and 51 yen, $4 to $7 daily for desks, Wi-Fi, coffee, and lunch in spaces designed to mimic traditional work environments. Some operations assign fictitious tasks and organize supervisory rounds to enhance the illusion. while premium services allow clients to role play as manager or stage workplace conflicts for additional fees.
This is unbelievable. I mean, it's believable, but it's tragic. You think about it. You're destroying. You have all these extra people laying around with nothing to do, and especially now with their manufacturing dropping off and their shipments of exports dropping off, you're going to have all these unemployed people.
Yeah.
So, what does it do to the brain of a person?
Oh,
Your value, it's just there's no value
yeah.
anymore.
And Gail, you brought up Arc a few months ago.
It's dying.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? The
I'm
browser company has
yeah.
ceased the active development of its Arc browser to focus on Dia.
Yeah, and Dia is a shit show.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm not going to
Yeah.
even read the rest of it.
Yeah, that's not like it's anybody who touched it says it's the worst idea ever.
Okay. Never mind.
Just bad implementation. Maybe it'll change. The good thing I can say is the moment I mean, when I came across Arc, it was novel and unique.
Mhm.
But it it had a problem. It's really tied to their online service, whatever. You need to log in order to use it. And that eared me. And I kept on looking. And Zen, which is Facebook based, a Facebook fork, is it gives most of, not everything that was in Arc, but I'm guessing they'll get there as well. The interface is very very similar, and that has become my daily driver. It is superior in its design. It uses everything that Firefox does right, and it adds to it the user interface novelties that came with Arc, like split tabs, and going making away with all of the UI around the page and just having the page itself. Uh, Not a pop up. It's still the same browser, same functionality with your extensions and all. Not a not a PWA, not a portable web app. I think that was the uh, not that. It's the web interface, the browser as itself, but everything is hidden. So you can get to the tabs if you want them, but they're out of the way, and that changes the way I use the browser. Uh, I don't use bookmarks anymore because I use what they call pinned tabs, which is very similar to the concept of pinned tabs in Firefox and Chrome. But because it's tied with an unloading mechanism, they can just sit there and not consume any resources, and I can activate them when I need them, and they're always in the same place. And they have a concept of workspaces. So all of these combined, which some of these ideas came from Arc, others came from the community. The development of it is a bit separate than what Arc went through, but it's a great way to browse. I really really like it uh compared to just plain Firefox. And yeah,
Yeah.
so the credit I give Arc here is Arc introduced me, somebody who used Arc, right, introduced me to another way of browsing. And the winner for me at this point is Zen. It is actively developed. It is very effective in its way. I needed to learn and unlearn some habits, but it was worth it.
Like
I've been
one of the
doing it
habits
now
that you had.
for two and a half
What is
months, and
what is one of the habits that you had to relearn? One.
so because it does not function 100% like Firefox, then some of its extensions cannot work exactly the same, or they're not effective in this browser as they
Okay.
were
All
effective.
right. Okay.
But that's like specific workflow thing. Um, yeah, mostly I'm using the browser just the way I want, and I can get to the services I want really really fast. Uh, And context switching, finding the tab that I want, stuff like that, is just become much more less of work and more, okay, let me just switch to that. um I really like the experience.
Okay. Well, that's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's called Zen.
Zen
Okay.
browser, yeah. Zen.
All right. All right, guys. It's this time of day again. It looks like Katie's doing work.
Yeah, I'm always hustling.
All right. Anything anybody wants to add? Going once? Going twice? No, huh? All right. Well, thanks, Spence. Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Katie. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov, and Yael. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner, and change any same passwords wherever you use them. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Monday through Friday, 5 to 6 a.m., Nick hosts the Carolina Journal News Hour on WBT, 1110 a.m., 99.3 FM, and on YouTube. So just look for the Carolina Journal News Hour on YouTube, and you can find out what all the other shows that you can download. And Nick also hosts the Nick Craig Show every week from 7 till 8 in the morning, political show. Just go to nickcraig.com to get the details. And Nick and Brian host the Infection podcast for years now on Twitch. That's for survival games, games in general, and some political stuff. So just go to infectionpodcast.com and get the details. When is the show? It jumps from day to day, different weeks. Have a great week, and we'll be back together next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com and DeltaForce.net.